What if I told you, even though you never invested, you do actually have an investment portfolio? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear happy investing females. Welcome to this YouTube video. I'm so excited to be connecting with you on YouTube for all the important topics around halal investing that will help you transform from financial stress or difficulty to financial security and freedom, inshallah. And today's topic is one that is very, very important for us Muslims, and it's one that actually not all Muslims are aware of, that work in the corporate world, which makes it even more important that we share this message so that we all can fulfill our obligation, inshallah. And it is the topic of zakat. In particular, we will be talking about zakat for pension funds. Now, do you know that even though maybe you don't invest in the stock market, you don't know how to invest, or you feel worried about it, or you don't feel comfortable yet, if you are in the corporate world, if you have a corporate job, chances are very likely that you do in fact have an investment portfolio with your pension fund. Because guess what? We are paying into the pension funds every month, but this money that is paid doesn't just sit there, because governments or institutions, they don't practice just keeping money saved. They put their money to work. In that case, not their money, but your money actually, and they put it in work by investing. And of course, the challenge for most of us living in Western countries or in non-Muslim countries is that they don't necessarily invest it in a halal way. So what do we do with that, right? Now this is the problem statement. Let's go into it, how we can solve that and how we can still fulfill our obligation as Muslims towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So first things first, what is zakat? Just to be clear on that. So it is a wealth tax of 2.5% that every Muslim has to pay once a year when he or she is above the minimum threshold. And now when it comes to investments, it is not the same straightforwardness as paying zakat on your savings, on your bank account, or on your cash that you have. It is a bit more complex, let's say. That's why it's so important that we need to learn how to do it. And there are two basic principles that I want to share with you that help you distinguish on how you can pay zakat on your investments, inshallah. And they are all about checking your intention. So first of all, we look at short-term intention, whereas we say zakat is paid on the whole value at due date when you decide to pay your zakat. And on the other hand, the second principle is if we have a long-term intention, then the zakat is paid only on the liquid assets, on the liquid part of your investments and the profits of the past year, inshallah. Now this applies to all different kinds of investment categories, and there is a great guide and guidance from the National Zakat Foundation that I will link below, inshallah, that helps us identify all these different categories. And also it helps us in terms of stocks or collection of stocks, where they give us an average percentage that we can take as zakatable if we have this long-term intention, inshallah. So what I would like you to follow me now is that we go through an actual example where we see these different categories and match it with how much or whether they are zakatable at all. And zakatable just means subject to zakat, so that we include them in our wealth calculation, inshallah. So first things first, if we look at these guides of the National Zakat Foundation, we see these categories and whether they are zakatable or not. So we see that cash is fully subject to zakat. Commodities like gold, silver, or any other commodity is treated as cash and fully zakatable to cash, fully zakatable, fully subject to zakat. We have real estate that is distinguished whether it is zakatable or not. Usually it is not zakatable, especially if we live in properties ourselves or if the properties are used by someone under our care, and if the properties are held for a long term. Now, if the properties are held for short term, then the full property value is zakatable. If there is rental income out of these properties, then this is also zakatable, even with a long-term intention. And something additional here, mortgages, the debt side of the property cannot be deducted from the zakatable amount. Then let's move on to cryptocurrency, which is fully zakatable. So for stocks, the short-term intention is straightforward, but the long-term intention either can be calculated by taking only the liquid assets and the profit of the specific company that we are investing in, or we can have a more simple approach that is recommended or offered as a second option by the National Zakat Foundation, where we only have a fixed ratio of percentage that we say this amount is zakatable. For example, in one specific year it was 25% or 40%, where we apply this 40% to the market value of the company and say, upon this, we pay zakat. For ETFs, this is definitely the one option that we want to go for with this fixed ratio, because it's just impossible to analyze sometimes thousands of stocks in the ETF on what their liquid asset and profit is. Alternatives, fully zakatable, sukuk, fully zakatable, sukuk or bonds, fully zakatable. Now let's go into the actual example. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that it was helpful, inshallah, and see you for the next video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.